Good evening, everyone. I'm Alvin King, host of He Said, He Said, He Said, a look at the world from a seasoned Black man's perspective. Tonight is Friday, November the 10th, and happy Veterans Day weekend to all of you. Our live show tonight, Rustin, with special guest Walter Nagel, will not air, ladies and gentlemen. Mayor Bowser is making a special proclamation tonight at the African American History Museum in Washington, D.C., in honor of Bayard Rustin. And Walter Nagel had to be at that event. During our live episode not airing, ladies and gentlemen, we would like for you to take a look at one of our previously recorded episodes with singer songstress Cy Smith in honor of her new single, Slide. We know that you love us, and we do love you, ladies and gentlemen, and we look forward to seeing you on a new episode of He Said, He Said, He Said.
Well, hello, everybody. This is your boy Alvin King, host of He Said, He Said, He Said, a look at the world from a seasoned Black man's perspective. Thank you all for joining us tonight. It is Friday, May the 20th. And when I tell you, do we have a show in store for you tonight? I'm going to say it. We have a show in store for you tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We have a special guest that's here that I am so excited to finally meet. And she's in town this weekend, and we will talk more about that. But welcome to our show. We're glad that you are here. And if any of you are like me in DC, you are suffering from allergies. So my heart goes out to all of you who are suffering from allergies right now. I know before we came on the show, I had to do like a little mini steam treatment so that I wouldn't come on here sounding like Brenda Vaccaro or somebody like that with a raspy voice. But I hope everybody has had a great week. And again, thank you for joining our show. Well, as I said, we have a very special guest with us tonight, and I want to make sure that every moment that we have, that we will spend time with her. But before we do that, I need to bring on my co-host, ladies and gentlemen, one of the hardest working men on He Said, Mr. Vosh Bodie.
Hello, Alvin. It's good to be seeing you.
You did it.
I just couldn't resist.
Hey, Vosh.
Alvin, look at you rocking this hat. Give it to me.
I'm trying. You know what? I'm a fedora guy, and I've been holding out for a year, okay, since we've been doing the show. But I was inspired by last week's show to put it on. Our show with Lou. I was like, you know what? Okay, Lou, you're making me go in the vault. So
look, and you are the stylish man on live stream services. So look, bring it.
Thank you, Vosh. How are you doing, my friend? How's your week been?
Dude, it has been so fantastic. I am so happy that the sun is out and it is not cold in the morning. I'm running around like a daffodil. Bring it to me. Give me the sun. Yes, it has just been just a lovely, lovely day.
Well,
lovely week, actually.
When you said running around like a daffodil, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys didn't see the show last week, Vosh had me. I was verklempt when Vosh showed a picture of him in a play where it was he was in a play where it was nude. But he showed me the advertisement for the play, but it just took me by surprise. I didn't know he was going to show it. I didn't know that part of that side of you. So when you said that, it just took me back to last week. But I'm unverklempt. And
the funniest part about that was you did clutch your pearls for almost a minute. It was fantastic. And the best part is I could see your eyes wandering to look at the picture. It was fantastic. Thank you for that moment.
No, thank you for that moment. How excited are you about our show tonight, Vosh?
Absolutely thrilled. We have been doing this show for just over a year.
Yes.
And I would say after the third episode, we talked about having this particular guest on the show because we all love her so much.
Yes. And I guess, you know what, I'm going to say it because before we get into the show, but I want to put up, if I can have the producer to put up one of our early advertisements, if you will. As many of you know, there were three of us when at the beginning of this concept. the gentleman, Jacques Whitfield, is the first cousin to our special guest. And he was the one who kind of, really put me back in touch with our special guest tonight. Yes, I'm keeping it a secret, everybody. You all have seen the advertisement, but I need to give her the introduction that she deserves. But we are so glad that she is here tonight. And if you're ready, I'm ready to get on with the show, my brother.
Rock and roll, bring it on. It's time for an Aquarius rising.
Okay. Well, since you mentioned it, tomorrow is the start of Gemini, and I'm in my complete birthday astrology sign moment, month, or whatever. My birthday's in June, but you know me, I celebrate. So to have this guest on the show tonight at the start of me beginning my birthday celebration, it is just epic. So okay. I'm gonna stop teasing all of you all. Ladies and gentlemen, our special guest is a native Washingtonian and a graduate of Howard University. You've heard her with the Grammy Award-winning trumpeter Chris Boudy live in Boston, or perhaps on one of the PBS Great Performances special. And you've seen her on the viral video with the legendary Pete Escovedo as they reimagine Al Green's classic hit, Let's Stay Together. You may have even seen her in her early part of her career backing artists that you may know like Whitney Houston, Brandy, Macy Gray, and Sheila E. But if you have never seen Cy Smith's solo performances, you are in for a real treat this weekend, because the singer, songwriter Cy Smith is performing live on Sunday, May the 22nd at the DC City Winery on her Feeling Good 2022 tour. Cy returns here to Washington, D.C. to remind us all that radical self-love and radical self-care equals revolutionary joy. And Vosh and I are beaming with joy tonight as we welcome to the He Said stage, the incomparable Miss Cy Smith.
Wow, what an introduction. Thank you so much.
You are welcome. Well deserved, my queen. Well deserved.
I'm blushing so hard.
well deserved, as I said. I mean, my Pandora is on fire. I mean, I've been listening to you, occasionally, like over the last year, like Vosh said, we've been talking about you. Yeah. But I mean, over the last 6 months, until I got up enough nerve to say, oh my God, I got to reach out to her. And then when I heard you were coming here and you accepted our invitation.
Oh my God, my cheeks hurt so bad right now.
Well, thank you for being here. Well, if we can, we're going to go ahead, because Vosh and I we've been talking a lot about the questions that we want to, ask you. And like I told you backstage, we have seen nearly every one of your interviews, that you've ever done. So, so I just want you to know that. So I'm going to kick it off and say, I know that you began your singing career in the late 90s with the singing for the incomparable Whitney Houston. But tell us, what was it like growing up at the age of 6 in DC, studying music and finding your calling for music?
Oh man. So when I was about 6, that's when my mother and I were living over off 23rd Parkway in Temple Hills, Hillcrest Heights. Mm-hmm. And I was taking piano lessons because I begged for piano lessons, right? So she put me in piano lessons, but they were like public school piano lessons. Like they were so ratchet. Like there were about 12 of us in the class, and each of us would walk up one at a time and have 7 minutes with the teacher, and then we'd go back and sit back down. And it was to be honest, that they were doing the best they could with what they had, but I knew that I needed something different, and I didn't know how to articulate private instruction. I didn't know those words at 6, but I kept telling my mother, Mommy, I just want it where it's me and the teacher. I just want that. I just want it where it's just me and the teacher, And my mom was like, oh, you want a private teacher? Yes, that's what I want.
Wow.
And so, 2 years later, after really being persistent, about that. My mom finally got me a private instructor by the name of Saul Roas,
Okay.
and he was a really strange bird from Argentina, but that man could play some piano, and he
Well, look
really.
at look at what he's produced. Okay.
Oh man, thank you. But it was really cool because he was not only a piano teacher, he was an artist, and that was sort of my first time. Now that I think about it, as I'm talking to you, I'm really realizing this. He was the first artist that I think I had a regular interaction with on, on a weekly basis, like a real artist doing artsy stuff, for a living. Yes, he was a piano instructor, but he would wear these, like, he wore like a priest collar, but like these Liberace jackets and these amazing like house shoes that look like they were made out of diamonds.
Oh, okay.
And,
All right, so
and
okay.
he played, like, he would do his own recitals once a year. And he was really like a true artist, and I think that was my first time seeing someone who didn't who didn't have what we might call a normal sort of livelihood or a normal way of life.
Right.
you know he marched to the beat of his own drum and lived like that. So I think that was so impressionable to me. And for the first time in my head, in my mind, I could see the possibilities. Like, I don't necessarily have to do what everybody else in my family has told me I need to do, go to school, get a job, da da da. I don't necessarily have to follow that way of life. I might be able to be an artist. That was a whole realization.
Wow, wow.
Yeah.
Well, do you come from a musical or an artistic family, Asai?
I I don't come from necessarily a musical family. My father, whose name is also Cy Smith, and he will never let you forget that he's the real Cy Smith. Um, my father is a really great singer and can play piano enough to kind of walk into a room and entertain everybody. He sings really well, but he sings well enough that he can walk into a room and entertain the whole room. He can tell jokes, like he's a performer. Who just never pursued it professionally, but he was definitely the closest person to me, where I could see, how to read a room, how to work a stage, how to do, even though he wasn't on stage. The
Mhm.
stage was just life. you know um and on my mother's side, I have an Uncle Billy. Shout out to Uncle Billy. He had a band in the 70s, and I used to listen to some of their records. They were called the Cool Blues. and and yeah, so and actually my mother's other brother Joe is a painter and a sculptor and that kind of thing. So there are definitely artists in the family, but there was nobody who did it for a living, you know.
Okay.
Right.
Not until I came along, I don't think.
Well, I was
Yeah.
going to ask you to name one of your inspirations for making music. So I'm going to give a shout out to Saul wherever he is, because he has, birthed Cy Smith, or if you will, giving you that outlook
Yeah.
that helped to shape who you are. So thank you for sharing that with us. Thank
Oh,
you.
yeah. Thank you
Thank
for asking that question, because that's really a first time realization for me.
you.
So I'm so glad you asked me that.
You're welcome. Mhm.
This is what we do on He Said, He Said, He Said,
That's what
connecting
we
you to
do.
yourself in a way that allows you to share you with us.
Yes,
Yes, indeed.
yes.
Mhm,
I
mhm.
love it. I feel like
I,
I have to say everything 3 times. I love it. I love it. I love it.
oh,
Like,
you must, you must, you must.
Please, please, please.
Well, Sai, I have a question for you,
okay.
because it seems like you have been able to just become this entity based on Senor Rojas. How would you define yourself as an artist? What kind of artist are you?
Um, you know, the easiest way I think for me to describe the type of artist I am is to give people a sort of familiar reference. And I always say, if somehow Sly Stone and Diana Ross had a love child, it would have been
Oh,
me.
Okay.
I'm about
You
to pass
know,
the plate on that. Okay, all right.
Well, what is it about those two that fuses with you?
um, Sly Stone's music always spoke to me in ways that satisfied my need for funk and interesting melodic choices and interesting chord changes, but just slop funk. Just, Sly was just so funky, um, and still way complicated musically, without being over everybody's head, and singing songs to the social conscious and that kind of thing. I always identified with that. And then, Miss Ross is Miss Ross. Like, who didn't want to be Miss Ross? When I was growing up, she was one of the only Black women that I would see, as grand as she was in the spaces that she was in. And I remember just, whenever I saw her, I would just be transfixed, like, wow, to be that large, it was always something that spoke to my need to be amplified in ways that would make me not feel so invisible,
Okay.
you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right on.
I
Yeah.
hope Miss Ross is hearing this.
Yeah,
Please,
seriously.
okay.
Because her spirit must be buzzing, because that was serious love.
That was serious.
So then how would you define or describe the music that you create?
Oh, that's a really good question, Bosh. The music that I create is, I think the backbone of it is soul, whatever that is, along the continuum of Black music. The backbeat is, there's always a go-go thing somewhere in there. If you know go-go, you might hear it. It's not always super, super evident, because nothing I do is super, super evident.
Mhm.
um, but I'm very much soul based with whimsy, soul based with sort of lyrical freedom and a vocal sort of whimsy, you know. Like, I don't sound like all the people I love, which always used to bother me,
Okay.
Okay.
it really bothered me that I didn't sound like Shaka Khan and would never sound like Aretha Franklin. Like, those were the voices I loved, and I never would sound like them. But I learned to appreciate my own sort of whimsical nature that just seems to be a part of my voice naturally, you know. So I think you hear that in my music, you know. Yeah, it's fun. And for music heads, there's definitely interesting stuff happening, for the people that need the chord changes,
Right.
Right.
and for the people that need the lyrics, I use funky words every now and then, but I think for people that just like to hear stories and characters, that might be who I write for, you know.
Well,
And taking us on a journey. Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
definitely going to speak on that a little later, because I was getting ready to say something that I need to wait, because but anyway, I need to take you back a bit. First of all,
Okay.
hello Rose, thank you for joining us tonight. We appreciate you being here. Rose is one of our faithful. 7 o'clock p.m. Rose could be out having dinner with friends and everything, but no, she's right here on He Said, He Said, He Said,
I
listening to
love it.
Alvin and Vosh. And so we do love you, and everybody else out there who's watching and we can't see you. Thank you for watching. But I want to take you back to the yard, okay?
Okay.
To the yard,
Okay.
because for those of you Howard University grads, HU, we
You
have a
know.
sister here, okay, from Howard University. How did your time at Howard University, prepare you for your career?
Oh my gosh. My time at Howard University prepared me for my career in so many ways, but mainly um, in the way that going to Howard kind of pushed me into, how do I say this? It pushed me into always abandoning my fear for the sake of taking the step needed to get to wherever I needed to go. You know, I had to abandon my fear all the time if I needed to take a step, if I wanted to get someplace, even if that meant, I got to go to the A building and talk to these people about, paying these, whatever, like anything,
Right.
if I need to go talk to my professor about blah, 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 I would always have to step through, some kind of fear to get something done, and that pushed a girl like me from behind the keyboard where I was musically all the time, to the front line of the stage, But I think that's what Howard did for me. And then of course, Howard was a big part of my networking. Like my first gig in Los Angeles was because the music director went to Howard. You know, I didn't have to
Connection.
audition for that. Kenny Lattimore was the gig, and
Oh,
Gordon
okay.
Campbell was Gordon Campbell was the MD. But I didn't have to audition for that. Gordon just called me and said, "Hey, I know you just moved to LA. You want this gig?" Like, yeah. But he had seen me prepping for that
Yeah.
kind of work, for 4 years. You
Right.
know,
Come on,
so
blessings. Okay.
yeah,
Yes,
absolutely,
yes,
absolutely,
yes, yes,
yeah.
yes.
Right
Thank
on.
you.
Well, Si, in addition to piano, what other instruments do you play?
I don't play any other instruments really. I mean, I play piano and I really fell off since I was 16. I was way better than I am now. But I- you know, I'm not one of those people that can play a million things. I tried to play clarinet. That's my favorite. That's my favorite instrument in the orchestra, but I failed miserably. I picked up some drumsticks. I could probably play, just regular, you know, eight, 16th, I could play something simple, but that's about it. Just keys. But the keyboard allows me to fake like I play other things. Like I can play synth bass on
Right.
keys, so then people might think I'm a bass player. Or I could play a guitar patch on the keys, and people, that sounds pretty much like a guitar. Like, so on my album, Sometimes a Rose Will Grow in Concrete, I'm playing a whole lot of that record. I produced that whole album, but I'm playing a lot of the instruments on there, except for the very obvious. If you hear some drums that sound like, a monster, that's probably not me. It's probably Lee. It's probably Lee Pearson or Stacey
Somebody
Lamont.
else.
Well, first of all, thank you for bringing up Monster from the Muppets playing the drums because I appreciate that reference. I do.
Well, Si, and following you, I really got connected to you and followed you around the pandemic. And that's when I
Mm,
was like, yeah, I was following you so much because your music was
wow.
actually putting me at ease in a number of different ways. So, how did you maintain your creativity and motivation musically during these 2 years of COVID?
Man, Alvin, the first few months were really hard, as they were for everybody. I know I'm not unique in that, but to be grounded the way I was, literally, Vash and I were talking about frequent flyer miles. I was used to being on a plane 3 times a week,
Yeah,
and to very suddenly, we literally landed at Dallas at 10:30 p.m. on March 12th and got to baggage claim and were told via text all the gigs were canceled. And
yeah,
March 13th, the whole world shut down.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So it took me a second to regroup. And by a second, I mean 3 months. Like it took a long time,
Yeah.
Right.
to sort of regroup because I fell into a little bit of a funk, and I had to figure out, like, why do I feel so funky? Why am I so depressed? And it was because I had put so much
Mhm.
of my value and worth in uh, what I did, in my work. Like I had attributed so much of my value and worth to my work and my productivity that
Right.
I lost the fact that I was just valuable and worthy just for the mere fact of existing. And when I realized that, I had to unlearn all of that productivity, baddest working, hardest working, da 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 da, all because all of that is alive.
Right.
You know, booked and busy, all that stuff is cute. But what's even cuter is knowing that the mere fact that the Most High or God or Yahweh or whomever you call him, the mere fact that he put you here means that you're worthy.
Mhm.
And so I had to unlearn that other stuff and relearn that. And when I relearned that, I was able to take care of myself in ways that I hadn't taken care of ever,
Mhm.
Wow.
ever. I had never sat down and just looked at myself and said, it's pretty cool that you're here,
Nice.
Wow.
you know?
Yeah. Yep.
Uh, yeah. And so
You're giving me
once I,
chills, okay? You're giving me chills because I know that feeling that you're talking. You're talking from a real place.
yeah,
And so
yeah.
I'm getting chills under the sweater. But I'm sorry, I
Oh
didn't mean to
man,
interrupt you, but
not at all, not at all. I don't really talk about this that much, um, and especially in these terms, because even as I talk about it, I get teary, I get emotional,
Mhm.
because I remember what it felt like to think that you're only worthy because you're doing so much, you know, and now I know better.
And as a performer, the applause that you get or the number of listens that you have,
Right,
etc. I mean, it's easy
right.
to get caught up in that.
It's so easy to get caught up in that. It's so easy to get caught up in the data and the metadata and the number and the streams and the likes and the comments but none of it means anything, you know. What
Mm.
really matters is that you're here, and then once you can find the value in yourself just existing, then you can connect in meaningful ways with other living beings on the planet. And
Right.
that's where the real magic starts to happen,
Mm.
you know.
Whew.
Yeah.
Si, you're gonna make me run upstairs in this house and come back down and just you know what, because run upstairs like someone does in church. That was the metaphor I was using, like run around the house. Not because I
Take
just need to
off.
run around the house, because that was the
Right.
word. Okay, oh my God. I'm sorry, Vash. I didn't mean to cut it. You sound like you'd ready to say something, my brother.
Well, what Sai, you said things that have me wanting to go in two different directions.
Okay.
One, you're being able to connect with people. I know you're super present on social media, and
Hmm.
I'm intrigued and want to sort of talk to you about that. But the other thing I really want to go into is the fact that you are so giving already as an artist,
Mm.
right? You will
Thank
sing
you.
backup for people. I mean, like you are Cy Smith, right? You have your career, you're doing your thing. You are touring with Chris, but you will sing backup for people. I just saw you
Yeah.
doing a gig where you were doing backup. And then in
Yeah.
your live gigs, you are always willing to feature somebody who needs to be heard by the people who are in that room.
Yeah.
You're so generous. Why is that important to you?
Um, it's funny that you bring this up because I was talking to another person last week and he also brought up that I'm such a giver and I didn't even realize that.
Mhm.
I just know that I have always enjoyed being a team player in that sense. And being a team player means, p- playing your position, and supporting whatever other positions you're supposed to support. I'm making this up because my mother didn't let me play sports, so I'm thinking that's what it means to be a team player.
That's hilarious.
Mhm.
But I love the camaraderie that I get to experience when I am part of a band. So as a supporting vocalist, I get something that I don't necessarily get when I'm in the front, because when you're in the front, you have a whole other set of responsibilities, and a whole other, you could still be a part of the band, but there's a whole other job that you got to do,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
But when you're on supporting vocals, you're part of a band and you have the potential to really create a wonderful support foundation for whomever is the artist, and that's always fun for me because there is a language that we speak to each other that nobody else really knows, nobody else even
Mhm.
knows there's another conversation going on
Mhm.
within the song, and that's always fun to be a part of. It's always fun to be a part of a secret conversation, you
Yes,
know?
yes.
And,
When
and
nobody else knows what you're talking, and the
and
synergy is
nobody
just
else knows what you're
flowing.
talking
Okay,
about.
right,
Yeah,
right.
that's always fun. And then secondly, I mean, I really just love music and I really, really just love performing. I really, really love the craft of what I do so much that there is no position, within the realm of performing that's too small for me. You know, I really just love it. If an artist calls me up and I'm really intrigued by their art and says, I would love for you to sing backup for me, I'm not going to say no because I'm Cy Smith. If anything, I might say no because I'm booked. You know,
Right.
but that's it. Like I really enjoy being a part of all of the situations. I can't think of all of the different gigs I've done. They're really it has to be less than two that weren't pleasant for me. Everything has been so dope, you know.
That's really huge for you to say because Sai, you have an amazing repertoire of music. Okay. And
Thank
so
you.
as I mentioned earlier, Pandora, it is on fire in my house with your music. But
Thank you.
you also mentioned something early on about when you were developing your style and you referenced, or when you were saying comparing yourself to how you sing to Aretha Franklin or Shaka Khan, and talking about your unique style that you have. And so when you were talking, three songs came to my mind:
What?
Conflict,
Ah,
That Ring, and Perspective. Okay.
oh my goodness. Okay.
Oh my God, if you all haven't heard Conflict, listen to this woman pick and choose these words that, it is absolutely brilliant to me. And so I
You.
listened to it and I was in the car, and then she has a hook. I don't want to tell you what it is. Go and Google her and listen to Conflict. But what is your writing process for coming up with your songs?
Um, a lot of times, like for conflict, for instance, I mean, I won't give away the hook if you don't want me to, but
Oh, oh,
uh,
make them go get it. But
okay,
but
okay.
no, but seriously, no, you can. It's Cy Smith. You can do
No,
whatever you
it's all good. I gotta shout out the producer of that track. His name is Dre King. He sent me that track. He lives here in DC actually. Dre King sent me the track, and the track is very sort of meditational, and if you just listen to it, it's very like doo 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 boo-dee-doo-da, be-doo-ge-doo. And that obligato bass line just will put you into a trance if you allow it. So I was thinking I would love to sort of just write the first word that comes to my head and then write what the exercise where somebody says something and then you say a word. So
Mhm.
I did that but with myself, you
Okay.
know. So I wrote, this is old, this is new, this is borrowed, this is blue, this is married, then divorced, this will be resolved in court, and that's what I did. I sort of played that game with myself and just to see what would happen. Um, and why would somebody do that? I don't know. I would imagine I would imagine that maybe that person might be high. I wasn't, but maybe that person might be who would play a game like that with themselves, and that's how this is your brain on drugs. That's how that came about.
But when I
Totally
thought
organic.
about your brain on drugs, just again, because she gave the hook away, ladies and gentlemen, she did it. I did it. When I thought about that, I just thought about where we are in this world right now. We're not, you don't have to be on drugs for your brain to be going through what it's going through right now with everything that's
Right.
going on in the world. And so I'm in the gas station listening to this, and that's all I'm going to say. And I didn't even want to pump my gas. I just wanted to drive off after I heard. I was like, she did this? Bravo.
Thank you so much.
Bravo,
Thank
bravo,
you.
bravo,
Thank you.
bravo. Yes.
My writing process has a lot to do with the way I was raised, and I'm the only child to my mother. Shout out to Serena Gilbert. I love you so much, mommy. She might be watching this. But I my mom raised me to be sort of very independent. Like, she had a lot going on. She was going to Howard, when I was very small. She was in a master's program there. So she would be like, don't bring every little thing that's going on to me. Like, if you can fix your toy yourself, please fix it yourself instead of running to be like, mommy. So I say that to say my writing process is very sort of solitary in that way. So that's why I would play a word game with myself, and come up with a song like Conflict, because that's the way I used to play as a kid, you know. Um, Perspective. Oh, you mentioned That Ring. Can I talk about it?
You can. I mean, it's clearly up to you. Like I said, I know what it did for me, and I just want everybody to go out and just blow it up and just listen to it. And again, it's really where I am in my life right now. Why that song resonated with me.
But please talk about it.
I love that it resonated. I love that it resonated with you. That was one of the first songs that I wrote for an album that didn't come out on Hollywood Records. But I wrote that song with a producer named Ali Shaheed Muhammad from A Tribe Called Quest back in '98. So I love that song still resonates with people because because I wrote it so long ago. And I wrote it at a time when I was young and thirsty and not thirsty, but thirsty and and like and I felt like at the time there were so many songs on urban radio that were like, can you pay my bills? Why you in my grill? And all of that. No scrubs. I don't want to. And I was just like, dang. Are we that mad, ladies?
Right.
Because I don't want anybody to pay my bills. This was my thinking back then, and still, I didn't want anybody to pay my bills, and I didn't need the whole confrontational why you all in my grill kind of thing. What I wanted was to be that ring on your finger. I wanted to be that ring that you wear with everything. I wanted to be like the tape that you rewind and hear me one more time, you know? And so that's how that came about. I want to be that ring you wear with everything. I want to be the tape you have to rewind and hear me just one more time,
Again, Vosh, you better go ahead and ask the question because right now she's speaking to me. I told you because I'm single and I want to be that ring. Okay.
Right.
So
Yes.
I want to be that ring. Like I said, powerful song. Another song, ladies and gentlemen. Go and Google Sy Smith and listen to That Ring. All right.
Well,
Thank you.
Speaking of that ring, you are married to the lovely and amazingly talented Sean.
Yeah.
Yes. We
Sean
love
Carter
Sean.
Peterson.
Yes, indeed. Let's say hello, Sean.
Hey, Sean. How you doing?
But aside from Sean and music, you do have another amazing love in your life.
Yes.
Do you want to
Are you
talk about?
Are you talking about Gingy?
Yes, I am. I'm going to give you an opportunity to talk about the love of your life.
Yes.
Oh, Gingy. We named him after the song. You know the song
I
Gingy?
do.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Which version?
Well, I mean, there's so many good ones. I mean,
Astrid Roberto and Jean Carn are the only two that I know.
Jean Carn. El DeBarge has a wonderful version.
Yeah, but I mean, Astrid.
Yeah, I mean, no.
Carn, I mean,
the ones you named are the ones.
Quintessential, yes.
Yeah.
There was another, but I can't think of it right now. So, but I know there's another Gingy that I've heard, and I just love it.
Ella Fitzgerald has a really nice one too.
Oh, really? I'll have to look her up. Okay.
Yeah.
But that dog, honey, okay, that dog is powerful. Look at her. Is it a girl or boy?
It's a boy.
Come on, Gingy.
He's a boy. That's why we changed the spelling of the name to kind of make it boyish. I don't know. We thought DJINJI was more boyish, like Django,
Yes. Gingy Unchained.
Gingy Unchained, exactly.
Well, absolutely beautiful. Sy, again, mentioning that we follow you on all your platforms. And we are so much about love on this show. I wanted to ask you a couple of questions just to check in with you and make sure that you're okay.
Okay,
Like
yeah.
many of us last week, we are completely heartbroken about the senseless mass killings in Buffalo, New York. You
Yes.
posted a heartfelt message about how it impacted you. Is there anything that you want to share with our viewers tonight about that
You
incident?
know, I posted that Black people are expected to keep on keeping on no matter what, keep on learning, keep on schooling, keep on working, keep on entertaining, keep on loving, keep on lifing like it's just another Monday. And that expectation, and for the most part, I feel like we do.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm,
and it's exhausting. And when I posted that, I was just tired, you know.
mhm.
I talk about choosing joy all the time, um, because I do believe that, especially for us as Black people, choosing joy is a revolutionary act.
Mm,
But choosing joy doesn't mean ignoring trauma. And it's important that we pause and reflect and express and talk about and check in with each other when these traumas happen, you know. And as terrible as Buffalo was, the incident at Tops, um, there are traumatic events happening to us all the time,
yeah.
um, and Black folks who are victims and survivors of family members dying or being murdered or losing their lives in ways that don't need to happen and only happen because of the systemic history of racism here. Um, and yes, choose joy, but no, don't ignore the trauma because if you ignore it, it festers, and I think it's okay to admit that you're tired. It's okay to admit that you're hurting. And it's okay to admit that you're human and you need somebody to check in with you, you know.
Yeah.
That's a
Thank
big part of actually choosing joy because once you work through it, you can actually genuinely and sincerely choose joy with authenticity, you know.
Thank you. Just wanted to check in with you, my sister, because I was right there with you. I was right
Yeah,
feeling it. So thank you for sharing your perspective and and
thank
and
you.
and sharing your feelings with us on that. Thank you.
Thank you for bringing that up. Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Because it still hurts, like it's not going to be something that goes away. I after I tweeted that and posted that, I also tweeted check in on your elders, fam,
Right.
because this is not new to them yet, here we are. Most of them lived through Jim Crow, you know,
Mhm.
and to have this happen, I can't imagine what some of our elders are thinking who have to get up and go to the store sometimes,
Right. Right.
as most of them do. All of
Right.
us do. So checking on your elders, this is something we're all going to need to keep checking in with each other about.
Yeah.
Amen. Amen.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah,
Thank you.
yeah.
Bobby Edwards said that your post spoke to them. Bison
Oh,
sister called you Bison
thank,
sister.
thank you, Bobby. Thank you, Bobby. I appreciate that, sir.
Hi,
Thank you.
Monica. Thank you for joining us again. Monica's another. She's faithful. Her and her husband, Oscar, because I know Oscar's watching that big screen
Ah,
TV looking at you and I, Vosh. I know he is.
Oh,
I
hey,
know he is.
Oscar.
Hey,
thank you,
Oscar.
Monica. Appreciate the kind words, for real.
Well, keeping on that lane, excuse me, I just want to jump in. You recently had a fire
What did we?
at your
Oh my
house.
God. Yeah, we had a fire on March 5th. I was coming back from two successful sold out shows in Indianapolis, and I'm landing at LAX and I'm texting Sean and hey babe, I'm on the way home. Hey babe, mommy's landed. Hey baby. And he just keeps replying, okay. And I'm like, what's going on? So I get in the Uber, um, and long story short, I get out of the Uber. Sean comes outside to help with my luggage like he normally does. And he says, darling, there's been an incident. You're going to see some damage. There was a fire. And I'm like, huh? You know, I'm looking around the neighborhood. We live on this block, that's normally, it's a city block in Los Angeles.
Mhm.
But I look around and the entire block is standing outside our house. And I was like, wait, what's going on in here? And our dog is on the porch next door being held by our neighbors, and the front door is standing wide open. And so I walk in and we walk to the bedroom, and the bed it looked like a tornado went through our house.
Wow.
And as I'm looking into the bedroom, I can see right through the wall to our backyard because the whole wall had burnt up.
Wow.
Yeah, so we had to, leave that day. A fire is a terrible, terrible, terrible thing, but we are both okay. Our dog is okay. We are housed. I'm not complaining. We will be displaced for a long time because it's going to take a long time to rebuild what was damaged. But even though we're covered and all of that stuff, the discombobulation that happens when a fire happens,
Can't
it
imagine.
cannot be
Yeah.
overstated. Even our dog was depressed, child.
Yeah.
We were,
Oh,
we,
bless his heart.
Seriously, yeah.
I mean,
Yes,
seriously,
yeah,
we
yeah.
were in a hotel for 6 weeks downtown,
Yeah.
downtown LA.
Yeah.
And downtown LA, Vosh, it's not really that many parks,
Right.
And so the one week, I think in the fifth week that we were in the hotel, I was on the road. I get a call from Sean. Gingy had gotten attacked by a pit bull, child. I said, Lord,
Oh man.
and he had to be hospitalized.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
Yes. Yes.
overnight.
Yes.
So, we were just pulling out our hair like, Lord.
I can't wait for the song that Gingy writes.
Okay.
I know we're gonna come in the house one day and Gingy gonna be in the piano like,
I'm so doggone mad. Okay, right.
right.
Okay. Oh my God. See, again, I'm
Yeah.
a dog lover, so I can imagine again how you were feeling when that happened. So
Oh man, yeah.
I mean, devastation.com.
.com. Thank God everything is okay. Everybody's okay. Gingy is back to normal,
Mhm.
and actually, it's almost like it didn't even happen because he's cool around other dogs. But it's scary, all of that kind of stuff. And all of that time, I'm still on the road and still performing and still on stage, and nobody knows what's going on with me.
Well, I can't say that's true because those who follow you, our hearts were with you. I mean, and I want to give a special shout out right now to your assistant. I'm not sure if I'm giving the right title, but Marquetta is just
Yes.
amazing. So shout out to Marquetta if you're
Shout
watching this.
out.
Alvin says hello, but Marquetta knows that I was watching you and I had my
Oh,
virtual arms around you and Sean and
thank you.
Gingy. So
Thank you for
yes,
that. Yeah.
great to see
Shout
you
out
here. Mhm.
Thank you for Marquetta. Marquetta is my business associate, and she holds me together when I'm coming apart at the seams.
I'm gonna give her this.
Come together, anime.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay. Marquetta got it going on. But look, we are getting to the end, and so I know I have one more question that I want to ask you before I let you go. Vosh may have some more questions that he wants to ask, but I have been producing events for a long time, and the way I create and visualize ideas, they help me to just be even more creative. And one of the ideas that I've been creating in my head is, who would I want to see on stage together at a concert? And I could care less who opens, because whoever they are, they're going to take me on a musical journey. So my all-time visual concept of a concert is Cy Smith, Mesa, and Lettucey on one concert. I don't care who opens, you're going to leave there on a journey. Okay. So I just wanted to get that out and say, are there any artists that you work with or that you would like to work with in that capacity?
First of all, I love Mesa and I love Lettucey, and I would gladly be the opener for that show. Are you kidding me? I love those ladies so much. Mesa is, I've been a fan of Mesa's forever. Good Lord, you just my heart is beating really hard right now.
It's in
Just
the atmosphere. I put it out
yeah,
there. It's
I
out
love
there.
it. I
It's
love
out
it.
there. It's out there.
Let me see. Who else would I love to work with in that capacity? Raphael Sadiq is the first name that comes to mind because to me he also has that Sly Stone thing happening
Yes.
in a real way, and I just love everything he does, everything he touches is just fantastic to me. Um, who else? I don't know. I would, what I would love to do? I would love to do an unplugged acoustic show with Janet Jackson.
Your Janet
You
album
know,
is great.
re-
Yeah.
remember that
Mhm.
that performance with her and Big Jim. Big Jim was at the piano and she was sitting at the piano with him, and the three background singers, and they did I Get So Lonely, and she was just singing at the piano, no dancing, no nothing.
I've
And it
never
was
seen it.
so dope. And I was like, man, I would love to do a whole show with Janet like
Right
I
on.
haven't seen it. I have to look for it. I haven't seen it, but
that.
it's now in my in my mind. So I will be looking for that. Thank
Yeah,
you.
I
Thank you.
I
Thank
would
you.
love to do something like that. Yeah.
Well, Vosh, go ahead, my friend.
I want to jump us because we have something else that we're doing with Sai before we let her go. So I just want to talk about your current concert. For
Oh,
yes.
okay.
What's
I'm
happening?
super
Why?
excited. Yeah.
Tell us why we need to go see this concert tour.
So the Feeling Good tour is all about, reclaiming your joy, finding your sources of joy and going straight to them. And hopefully at the end of the show, maybe my show might be a source of joy for you that you'll go back to when you need, a spark of love and light in your life. I have my band from Charlotte. They've been playing with me for a couple of years and they're so, so dope. So they're going to be doing all of these shows with me. DC on Sunday, May 22nd at City Winery. May 25th at City Winery Atlanta. And for those two shows, my girl Be My Fiasco, she is an artist on FE Music. She's going to open the show, and she's super dope. If you've never heard of her, look her up. Be My Fiasco is all one word. Her album is called Where I Left You, and she's just a vibrant young artist whom I love. She just recently won a contest with producer Brian Michael Cox. On Voicey, this app Voicey. She's just a wonderful writer and performer, and I'm looking forward to having her open these two shows. Then the next show that I'm doing is June 4th. This show is really special to me because it's on my family homeland in Promised Land, Tennessee. Promised Land, Tennessee is one of the first Black settlements after the Civil War in the state of Tennessee. And it was my forefathers who established it. And this is where my mother was raised, and this is where her people were raised, and the one room schoolhouse is still standing, and I'm performing on a pavilion right next to that one room schoolhouse that is a national historic landmark now. So I am so excited and thrilled to stand on the land that my ancestors were once enslaved on, and then they bought that land and worked it and raised their children on it, and now I'm performing on it. So that's exciting to me. June 4th, and we're about 45 miles from Nashville in Middle Tennessee. So if anybody's out in that region, take a day trip. It'll be fun. It's free. And then the next show I have is I'm opening for Sheila E. at the Rochester Jazz Festival on June 22nd. That's going to be super fun. And then June 25th, I'll be in my birth city of New York at Rockwood Music Hall. So,
wow, wow, wow. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you have seen it in our promotions. And so please go to Sai's Facebook, her website, and see all of her tours. And if you're in DC, come out to the show on Sunday at the DC City Winery. I'm going to be there screaming. I promise you I'm going to be there. And if I would love to see you all out there. So please go and do that. Well, ladies and gentlemen, of course, here on He Said, Vosh and I are always doing something that's outside the box. And so tonight, we're going to have a freestyle that we're calling Sing with Sai. And we are going to, Vosh and I have come up with a couple of words, and we're just going to give Sai a word, and she's going to freestyle a song, or however she decides to do it, she's going to freestyle our word. So
Okay.
I am going to be the first person. Or Vashti, would you like to? I can tip my hat to you tonight. Would you like to be first?
I don't mind going first.
Do your thing.
Because, my word is flip-flops. Flip-flops.
All right. Get up in the morning and I put on my robe and my flip-flops. Flip-flops.
Ha.
Turn on some music and I want to hear what? Hip-hop. Hey,
Ha.
hip-hop.
Ha.
Gotta get my scissors and trim my hair like
Ha.
chip chop. Hey,
Ooh.
chip chop.
Hey.
I wanna do a dance one day. What? I'ma do the whip wop. Whip wop. That's it.
Hey, all
Thank
right.
you. Thank you. Okay.
Love it.
My word is in honor of my birthday. My word is king. King.
King. All right. Let's see. Let me see. I look at you and I know that you a king, you a king, you a king. And that's why every day I have to sing. I gotta sing, I gotta sing. I do it 3 times. I like to fly, get my wings, get my wings. Hey, ring the bell, ring the bell, ring the bell like ding a ding 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 ding.
Ah.
Everybody knows it's your birthday. Hey, hey, and everybody knows we got to play.
Ha.
So
Ha.
when you come to Tijuana, Ray, say, hey, I'm not woke, I'm not dead. He said.
Yes.
Thank you. That was 2 in 1. I love it. Okay. I love it. Thank you.
Yes. That was it.
Oh, we're gonna have a good time. I can't wait to see you in person.
I am so looking forward to seeing you. Vosh, did you have another word before we start to close out the show tonight? Because did you have another word for?
I'm just saying
guest?
look, you worked it out. Look at what people are saying. Bobby's like work side. Like you have touched Bobby's spirit yet again. That was super fantastic.
Thank
you
you.
look, you did it and you got back to the 3 times. That was it.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are about to close our show. Again, let me first of all thank the amazing Cy Smith for joining us today on He Said. You have just made my day. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate both of you having me tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. And for we did mention earlier, again, there were 3 of us when we started. That's right. Jacques was one of our he was one of the original. He said he is Cy's first cousin, ladies and gentlemen. So thank you for putting her in our world, Jacques, wherever you are. We love you. Ladies and gentlemen, next week we will be celebrating Black Gay Pride, and we will have special guests here next week who are part of the Black Gay Pride Committee, talking to us about all the festivities that's going on in DC next week, and it is a lot. And also get a little bit of education on why there is a Black Gay Pride. Okay, yes. So we want to talk about that. So we're going to leave you with our words of the week. There is no fear when you choose love. The more you choose love, the more love is in your life. It gets easier and easier. And that was a quote from the incomparable Melissa Etheridge, ladies and gentlemen. So again, Cy, thank you for being a part of our show tonight.
Yeah.
Thank you. My God. Thank you so much for having me.
Unforgettable, unforgettable night. So we will see everybody next week. Oh, thank you, Naylin, for watching. Thank you, Derek, for watching. Thank you, Rose.
Thank you.
And thank you. Who is that? Heart Script Maryland? Oh, I'm sorry, not Maryland. You're a doctor. MD. Sorry about that. Thank you for the birthday wish, ladies and gentlemen. So look, you guys have a great week, and we look forward to seeing you next week on our episode of He Said.
He Said.
he said.
We're out, ladies and gentlemen. You guys have a great week. And come to the DC City Winery if you are here on Sunday, May the 22nd, and get a taste of Cy Smith. All right?
Thank you.
Yes, indeed.
Good night.